Football's supposed to be the beautiful game, the simple game. 22 players, one ball, one winner. But behind that beauty, there is money, power, politics, and sometimes pure crime. Here are the biggest football scandals that almost destroyed the sport you love. First, FIFA Gate, 2015. The scandal that brought down the most powerful men in world football. For years, people joked that FIFA, the organization that runs the World Cup, was corrupt. Then, the FBI proved it. On May 27, 2015, at dawn, Swiss police raided a luxury hotel in Zurich, the Boer au Lac. This is where FIFA officials were staying for their annual meeting. They knocked on doors and arrested 7 top officials. They dragged them out in handcuffs. Charges included racketeering, wire fraud, and money laundering. The United States Department of Justice said they had taken over $150 million in bribes over 24 years. What were the bribes for? Everything. The right to host the World Cup, marketing rights, television rights, voting rights. The biggest bombshell was the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. Russia and Qatar. Qatar is a tiny desert country with no football history and summer temperatures of 120 degrees. How did they win? Prosecutors said Qatari officials paid millions to FIFA voters. One FIFA executive got $2 million for his vote. Another got a painting by Picasso. The fallout was massive. Sepp Blatter, the president of FIFA for 17 years, the most powerful man in football, was banned for 8 years. Michel Platini, the president of UEFA and French legend, banned. Dozens of officials banned for life. FIFA had to completely rebuild itself. And Qatar still hosted 2022, but under a cloud that never left. Second, Calciopoli. 2006, the scandal that destroyed Italian football. Italy had just won the World Cup. They were champions of the world. And at home, their league was rotting. Italian police were investigating the mafia, and they tapped the phones of some football directors. What they heard shocked them. Luciano Moggi, the general manager of Juventus, the biggest club in Italy, was calling referees, not to threaten them, to assign them. He had a network. He would call the man in charge of assigning referees and say, "I want this referee for this game, and I do not want that referee for that game." He did it to get favorable referees for Juventus and to give bad referees to rivals like Inter Milan and AC Milan. It was called Calciopoli, which means football gate. When the transcripts were released, Italy went insane. The conversations were so casual. Moggi saying, "You have to help us." The referee assigner saying, "Don't worry." The punishment was brutal. Juventus, who had won the league 2 years in a row, were stripped of both titles and relegated to Serie B, the second division, for the first time in their history. They were given a 30-point deduction. It was a death sentence. AC Milan, Fiorentina, Lazio, and Regina were also punished with points deductions. Juventus lost Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Fabio Cannavaro, Lilian Thuram, Gianluca Zambrotta. All their stars left. It took them 6 years to win the league again. Third, the Marseille scandal, 1993. The only time a European Cup, now called the Champions League, was tainted. Olympique de Marseille was the richest club in France. Their president, Bernard Tapie, was a millionaire businessman who wanted to win everything. The French League final was coming up. Marseille needed to rest players for the Champions League final against AC Milan 4 days later. So Tapie told his coach to bribe the opposing team, Valenciennes. He offered Valenciennes players 250,000 French francs each to lose, or at least not try too hard, so Marseille players would not get injured. One Valenciennes player, Jacques Glassman, refused and reported it. The police found the money buried in a garden, literally buried in the backyard of a player's aunt. Marseille were stripped of the French League title for 1993. They were banned from defending their Champions League title. They were relegated to the second division. Bernard Tapie was sent to prison, and to this day, there is an asterisk next to Marseille's Champions League win. They won the trophy on the pitch against Milan, 1-0, but many people say they should have been stripped of that too. Fourth, the Bundesliga scandal, 1971. Germany's biggest ever. The Bundesliga was only 8 years old. Football was becoming professional and money was tight. A team called Kickers Offenbach was being relegated. Their president, Horst Gregorio Canellis, had tapes. He had recorded phone calls where players from other teams agreed to lose on purpose for money. It was not 1 or 2 players. It was 52 players, 2 coaches, and 6 officials. Teams were paying other teams to win or lose to help them avoid relegation or win the title. The most famous game was Schalke versus Arminia Bielefeld. Schalke lost 1-0 on purpose. The players were paid. Fans were devastated because Schalke was one of the most beloved clubs. When the scandal broke, the German national team almost fell apart before the 1974 World Cup. 52 players were banned, some for life, some for 2 years. The league's reputation was destroyed for years. It took the 1974 World Cup win to restore faith in German football. Fifth, the 1982 disgrace of Gijón. This is not a corruption scandal. It is a shame scandal. At the World Cup in Spain, West Germany and Austria were in the same group with Algeria and Chile. Algeria had shocked everyone by beating West Germany 2-1 in the first game. It was one of the biggest upsets ever. Then Algeria beat Chile. West Germany beat Chile. Going into the last group games, Algeria had 4 points and had finished all their games. West Germany and Austria both had 2 points and played each other the next day. Everyone knew the math. If West Germany won 1-0, both West Germany and Austria would go through on goal difference, and Algeria would go out. That is exactly what happened. West Germany scored after 10 minutes through Horst Hrubesch. Then both teams just stopped playing. For 80 minutes, they passed the ball sideways. No shots, no tackles. The crowd in Gijón whistled and chanted, "Que se besen, which means, "Let them kiss." An Algerian fan waved money at the players. The commentator for German television said, "This is disgraceful," and stopped commentating. Algeria went home, despite beating 2 teams. FIFA was so embarrassed they changed the rule. From 1986 onward, the final 2 group games must be played at the exact same time, so teams cannot know what result they need. That rule exists because of this one shameful game. Sixth, spot fixing in Pakistan? No, let's talk about football. The English match fixing scandal of 1964. Before the Premier League was rich, English football was poor. Players had a maximum wage of £20 a week. That was less than a factory worker. So some players decided to make extra money by betting on their own games to lose. The ringleader was Jimmy Gauld, a former player. He recruited players, including 3 from Sheffield Wednesday, one of the biggest clubs in England. They would bet that their team would lose, then make sure they lost. It worked for years until Gauld sold his story to a newspaper, the Sunday People. He confessed everything. 10 players were banned for life, including Peter Swan and Tony Kaye, 2 England internationals who were supposed to play in the 1966 World Cup. They missed England's only World Cup win because they took a £50 bribe. £50 to throw away a World Cup dream. Seventh, and this one is still happening, the financial fair play and Manchester City charges. In 2008, Manchester City were bought by Sheikh Mansour of Abu Dhabi. They went from a mid-table club to one of the richest clubs in the world overnight. They bought Robinho, then Sergio Aguero, then Kevin De Bruyne, then Erling Haaland. They won 6 Premier Leagues in 7 years. But in 2023, the Premier League charged Manchester City with 115 breaches of financial rules over 9 seasons. They are accused of lying about how much money they make from sponsors, lying about how much they pay their manager and players, and not cooperating with the investigation. Manchester City says they are innocent and that they have a mountain of evidence to prove it. The case has taken years and still has no verdict. If they are found guilty, they could be stripped of titles, relegated, or given a massive points deduction. It would make Calciopoli look small. So why does football keep having scandals? Because football's not just a sport. It is a $200 billion industry. It is politics. Hosting a World Cup can make a country billions and give it prestige. Winning the Champions League is worth over $100 million. Relegation from the Premier League costs a club over $150 million. When that much money is on the line, some people will cheat. But here is the beautiful thing. Football always survives. Juventus went down to Serie B and came back stronger. Germany fixed its league and won the World Cup. FIFA-gate led to reforms. Even Marseille fans still sing about 1993 because they still won it on the pitch. The scandals remind us that the game is played by humans, and humans are flawed, greedy, and sometimes corrupt. But the ball is still round, and for 90 minutes, when the whistle blows, it is still the beautiful game, even if someone paid the referee.